we don't need the votes to go in. We would need to vote to cancel it. The veto, there's a big misconception out there that we have to vote ourselves in, and we don't have to vote ourselves in. We have to vote ourselves out. Constitutionally, the veto session is automatically called if there's vetoed bills.
So you have officially called a veto session on the House side and the Senate?
No.
You have not?
The Constitution has called it.
So y'all take a vote to decide whether you're going to come back for it?
We take a vote to decide if we don't want to come back for it.
When is that vote?
That vote would go out after we get all of the vetoes done. He has until July 3rd to send the last vetoes.
On both sides of the legislature, is that a simple majority vote? How does that work exactly?
That's a simple majority vote.
So if a majority members of the House and a majority of the members of the Senate want to come back to the veto session, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be first time ever, right?
First time in history that we called and actually acted upon the Constitution to come back in for a veto session. We've overridden bills before, but they were while we were in session.
Mr. Clay, why does Louisiana need a special veto session of both houses of our legislature?
Well, I think this year, I think you see two bills that the general public out there that our constituents are concerned mostly about. Two of them, one the constitutional carry, and the other is the I call it the Protecting Women's Bill. I think the overwhelming majority, especially in my district, which is South Louisiana, roughly 75% of my district supported that bill, and that's the one I'm getting the loudest noise over, and I think that's something worthy to come back in. I have two granddaughters, and I have two daughters that I think it would be small of me not to try to protect them as women as they grow up. I mean, we fight battles every year up there about women's rights and things we need to do, and this would be a shame if we just let something like this walk by.
What does it take to override the veto?
2/3, that's right.
Okay.
Exactly right.
On both sides?
Yes.
They say the Senate is probably more likely to override, or the House is more likely to override. Is that accurate?
I haven't had actual conversation with senators themselves, but my conversation with the Senate president and the Speaker Pro Tem on that side, it looks like it's going to definitely have the votes to be able to do their business on their side.
I would imagine that the vote to convene itself would tell you everything you get to know about a veto override. How about that?
I think it would definitely be a good measuring stick. There's no doubt about that.
What message does this send to the governor that y'all are seriously considering this?
I think it sends the message that he needs to understand that the people of the state of Louisiana are serious about protecting women and protecting the state of Louisiana. I think if you saw the overwhelming support this year on the accomplishments we've made in both the House and the Senate when it came to tax reform, and then the year before that on tort reform, I think you see legislators that are wanting to move the ball forward and have picked up the ball and started moving. And I think the message is clear that this state is in the prime of the battle to be able to make us a better state for the future and for everybody moving forward. So I think he'll get the message. I really do. And I don't think he's that far off of it. I really don't. I think he gets it. I just think he has his role that he has to play, and we have ours that we have to play.
Do you think one of these over the other has a better chance of being overridden, or are they both kind of in the same ballpark?
I think right now the momentum is definitely behind the women's protection bill. I think it is definitely stirring up the most dust out there amongst the state. I've been traveling the state talking about the successes that we've had during the legislature, and I can tell you that's the one that I get 90% of the questions on.
Mr. Clay, you said something very interesting a couple of seconds ago. You said the governor was, I think you said, playing his role in all of this. Do you get the sense, or at least I inferred from what you said, that the governor, these two issues may not be all that important to him, i.e., is it really, to use the phrase, for him it's not a hill to die on, huh?
I think his role in all of this is, he looks at it, and I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but just by seeing what happens out there with what he's vetoed so far, I think he has his constituency that he has to work to, and of course, the House and the Senate have theirs that they have to work to. So I think his role is that he has to play to those guys and ladies on his side. So I think that's where he is.